Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. I'd like to start this session by appreciating you so much for making this channel grow. If you wish to support us, just subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. So, RAILA Odinga has continued to receive boosts from international bodies who have been lauding the fact that the bipartisan talk is headed in the direction that he has taken. Part of the agenda in the bipartisan talk is the electoral justice. The issue of electoral justice has become thorny. And some of those ambassadors, like Jane Marriott, the UK ambassador to Kenya, was one of those people who were blamed by Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga was the first person to accuse the UK and also accuse the US in meddling in the elections of Kenya. So that was proved when Meg Whitman meddled in the IEBC issues. You remember that day during the devolution conference when Meg Whitman said that the election of Kenya was free, the most free and fair one. Whereas those remarks came at a time whereby the bipartisan talk was actually going on, and one of the main aim was to establish whether the IEBC performance was according to the law. So today, Raila Odinga managed to meet the new UK commissioner, that is talking about Neil Wigan. And they had a very brief meeting. And in attendance, it's alleged that Gino Malo was there. So I want to read to you a certain tweet that Raila Odinga posted soon after that meeting. And he said, "Pleased to welcome UK in Kenya's Neil Wigan. We reflected on long historical ties between Kenya and the UK. He lauded Kenya's for tenacity in the difficult struggle for democracy and a new constitution. We also touched on devolution, the ongoing bipartisan talks, and agreed to renew and strengthen our ties for democracy, stability, trade, and investment." That is Raila Odinga who shared those two tweets. And these two tweets were in response to that meeting which he had with Neil Wigan, the new commissioner, the UK commissioner to Kenya. Remember, he was appointed in April, because I think that is the time Jane Marriott's time was ending. So he was appointed in April, but started started work in around there June. I think if my facts are correct, then he started in June. So that is what I remember as far as the information I have online. So Neil Wigan also shared the following: "Insightful first meeting with Raila Odinga today on democracy and politics in Kenya and the historical relationship. I look forward to many more meetings." That is what Neil Wigan said. That's the new commissioner. So I started off by giving you some brief history about the previous commissioners or the previous ambassadors and how they fell out with the Azimio. Because you remember last year, Raila broke out this news that the UK and the US were meddling in the Kenya's affair. So there was that issue between Jane Marriott also was part of it, and Meg Whitman also part of these blames which were going on. Then they were the ones who were accused to have done exactly what Raila Odinga accused them of. But you see, when Raila Odinga first accused them, there was no, they had not come out publicly to say that they donated certain amount of money to aid in the IEBC election. But then thereafter, Meg Whitman and Jane Marriott, both of them agreed that they financed IEBC to a certain level. So that is what was said back then. So on to this meeting with Neil Wigan, the new commissioner. What do you think would have been discussed there? You see, if you look at the tweet I shared regarding what Neil Wigan said. Neil Wigan talked about something very important, the bipartisan talk. He agreed with the talks and literally said that, I think if you look at the tweet, then it was somehow optimistic. It's unlike Jen Marriott and Meg Whitman, who already made pronouncements which bordered around the fact that they already knew the outcome of that bipartisan talk. Mind you, when I started this analysis, I talked about something very important. I talked about the electoral justice. You see, that is one of the things that the bipartisan talk is supposed to solve. The electoral justice supposed to be given to, the issue of electoral injustice is supposed to be done away with completely. So, when Meg Whitman asserted that IEBC did due diligence in its whole operation, whereas the bipartisan talk is yet to establish whether due diligence was followed, then you see hii zote inakuja kwamba inaonekana kama US wako na mkono wameekelea pale. US wameekelea mkono, because otherwise they wouldn't have made those kind of remarks. They're saying that election was free and fair. Election couldn't have been free and fair if at all everybody is asking for that server to be opened. So I find that Meg Whitman and Neil Wigan, if I look at the two, then I think Neil Wigan has addressed this issue maturely and hajakimbilia ile kimbie. Unajua kuna ile kimbelembele, hana ile kimbelembele. If you looked at the meeting they had with Raila, the man was so posed, hana haraka, hana kimbelembele, and went straight to the point that we support the bipartisan talk and we also intend to meet over and over again. So this is a commissioner who has respect for the Azimio. That's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. As opposed to Meg Whitman, who is only on the side of the government. She's not on the side of Azimio, but she is on the side of RUTO only. That's why you find that kila saa yuko state house. She hardly talks to this faction of Azimio hivi too. And that's why you find that Raila Amolo Odinga had to tell her, mind your own business. Yes, you either do what Kenyans want ama utoke uende zako. That was the ultimatum that was issued to her. I think what followed that statement was that ilibidi atulie na asiongee sana, na ilimbidi ati. I think ever since that time we've not heard her talk about IEBC anymore. That was a thorny issue which she ought not to have talked about. Just like Neil Wigan has not talked about it. Neil Wigan has been very careful not to mention that such kind of information, such kind of remarks like elections free and fair. If you looked at the tweet, hakuna mali ametaja vitu kama hizo. He only talked about the need for cooperation, the need to have bilateral talks, the need to embrace democracy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to raise my case there, but I'd like to kindly urge you to go below the comment section and tell us what you think could have been discussed in that meeting between Raila and Neil Wigan, the new High Commissioner to Kenya, UK High Commissioner to Kenya. Just tell us what you think about that. And now, to those people who have not subscribed to this channel, I'd like to kindly request you to take 1 second, go below on the comment section and just tell us what you think about the meeting between the two leaders, Raila and Neil Wigan. To those who have supported this channel by either subscribing, liking, or giving these videos a like, I'd like to tell you that I'm forever grateful for that support, because without you, this channel cannot grow. So until you catch up again, please stay safe and stay blessed.